Hi, I'm Justin, and welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to be discussing the Neo-Aristotelian rhetoric method, um, and I'm going to be applying it to the movie Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray. So, just to give you a brief introduction of this movie for those who have not already seen it, um, Groundhog Day is this movie where Bill Murray is stuck in this time loop living the same day every single day. It's got a theme, like a very repetitive theme of personal growth, and most of my focus is gonna be on the main character Phil Connors, who uses rhetoric in this movie, but you like initially it's in a kind of selfish way, but then later on he uses it in more of an empathetic way to win over Rita, who is the love interest. Groundhog Day is pretty much a love story in ways. Just some historical context on Neo-Aristotelian criticism. It was developed by Herbert Wickhelms in 1925. It focuses on analyzing how speakers use rhetoric to influence their audience. It's connected and kind of concerned with the effect and how ethos, pathos, and logos are used to kind of persuade audiences. Um, in the textbook by Sanja K. Foss kind of explains Neo Aristotelian criticism as having these five key, she calls it, I think, canons. And those canons are invention, organization, style, memory, and delivery. And those are all used to evaluate rhetorical effectiveness. These five things kind of help us to break down the speech or the text that we're looking at and see how well it works on an audience. Um, so kind of getting into these five canons, you have invention, which is the development of the ideas, kind of uses ethos, pathos, and logos. You have organization, which is kind of the structure of the message that you're sending. There's style, which is the language and expressions that are used. And then you have memory, which is the speaker's ability to remember their message. And then you have delivery. And then that's kind of the use of voice and gestures and body language. So in the movie, Phil kind of tries to manipulate Rita by just trying to remember things that she likes to do, drink, eat, and he learns that he's kind of using these things that he learns to try and like charm her, but his motivations are kind of in the wrong place. They're selfish. And as the story progresses, Phil kind of experiences genuine growth. He starts to grow because he learns lessons in this looping day. And he stops trying to manipulate Rita and instead starts to be more empathetic. And his pathos kind of gets stronger as he becomes more selfless and shows it in kind of smaller ways, small but meaningful ways, kind of by doing things like helping the townspeople. His ethos improves as he kind of gets more authentic with himself and with others. And there was this one article by Corpus and Takderas in 2024. I probably pronounced those terribly. But one of the quotes they say is the use of emotional appeals, pathos, often shifts the audience's perception of the speaker, aligning them with the character's evolving motivations. And this kind of mirrors Phil's transformation in Groundhog Day, kind of how his own evolving pathos ultimately helps Rita see him as more of a genuine and caring individual rather than, a manipulative person. And there was also a YouTube video that I found titled "Best Rhetoric Movie Groundhog Day," and this video is kind of describing how the film uses rhetoric repeatedly, and it doesn't, or kind of how Bill Murray in the film is using rhetoric repeatedly, and it doesn't really work until it becomes genuine. So it kind of just shows Phil's transformation into a more empathetic person is a direct result of his success in his rhetorical approach. And the repetitive structure of the film kind of shows Phil's journey of trial and error every day. He has to restart and make different choices, symbolizing kind of how he reorganizes like his strategy every single time, his rhetorical strategy. And the structure kind of shows his development from a manipulative individual to an empathetic one. Earlier in the film, his language is more calculated and like insincere, and later on it's more from the heart. His delivery shifts, and he's more like arrogant and impatient in the beginning. And as the story develops, he gets more soft. His like delivery is softer, and he's more vulnerable and just more of a genuine individual, and is able to connect with the townspeople better. So, kind of to summarize all of this, through the lens of Neo-Aristotelian criticism, we can see how Phil Connor's rhetorical approach kind of evolves throughout the movie. He uses ethos, pathos, and logos, and they become more authentic as the movie progresses. And he's able to connect on deeper emotional levels with Rita and the rest of the town, which ultimately leads to kind of a happier ending, a more successful story. So what I learned from this and why I connected these two is just because I feel that Groundhog Day teaches us that effective rhetoric is not just about having a clever strategy, a manipulative strategy to kind of get in the mind of your audience or whoever you're talking to. It's about being sincere and being empathetic towards those that you're speaking to. Phil's character shows us kind of exactly that. True connection happens when we stop trying to manipulate and when we start trying to care. So, thank you.